Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to Indie Please Add Details, episode 32. My name's Keegan, one half of Level 2 Gamers, hanging out with Tom, the other half. As always, how are you doing, Tom?
I am good. I'm happy to be back in the studio. It's been a hot second.
We had Pixel Pop, which if you want to listen to our podcast on Saturday, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we were supposed to record last week, but I was not feeling the greatest because it's I don't know if you call it the 1 year anniversary, but it's been a year since my grandma passed, so I was not exactly in the best headspace. I was like, hey, let's take one more week off, get caught up on some things and other stuff I've been working on.
But we should be starting our consistent 2-week rotating schedule from this very second.
It's funny because we're like we're doing this and then Pixel Pop and then
it was just a rough time. If we look up at our board of things to do this year, they're all gone. So it's I mean, of course, we'll probably cover like some other
stream
events.
For me, my board at home says streams, Discord, and now it says a new thing I'm working on, a website.
Ooh.
So
tell us about it.
I'm going to talk a little bit, so some housekeeping before we jump into the episode. We have kind of soft launched a website, and I've done this on my own. I went to you and said, hey, this is a thing I'm doing, and you're like, cool, go for it. But if you head to level2gamers.wordpress.com, it'll take you to the website. We are working on getting level2gamers.com to redirect there, but it's not, as of recording, it has not finished that transfer. So
hopefully by the time you see this, it will be. So test it.
It's supposed to be the day this goes live, it should be there. If not, it'll still redirect you to YouTube, and then I'd have to find some behind-the-scenes stuff and figure out what's going on there. But basically, the reason behind it, there's a couple of reasons. Main reason for me is I feel like a lot of times we wait till Tuesday to get the news out, and by the time Tuesday comes around, the news from Wednesday or from whatever day it was is kind of slow.
Also, we record relatively early, and Tuesday it tends to drop all day long. So it's like there's stuff that we almost every week at this point. I think something has happened when we finish recording. We're like, fuck, like, you know.
And this gives us a way to do that. And the same thing with like announcements, because like for me, I don't want to put in the podcast, this game was announced. Like to me, that like unless it's a huge game or some like big developer, it doesn't make sense. But that's a good place to go on the website. Be like, here's a new trailer for this. Here's this.
So littler information, I think, is what we're looking at.
The littler information and more consistent stuff of like one of the things I did is, and we're growing it as we go along. I put some backlog up, but I'm also putting some stuff, all the stuff going forward, hopefully, is the goal. So like We Happy Few is going to be my spotlight today, spoiler. But We Happy Few, we got the launch trailer up. We then said, hey, here's the launch trailer for We Happy Few. I then streamed We Happy Few and said, hey, here's an hour of We Happy Few gameplay of me playing. If you want to check it out, if you want to see the trailer, here's this below. Those kind of things of like continuing that coverage of that game, even if we don't do it on the podcast.
Especially for updates and things like that, because I feel like sometimes when you go over updates in a podcast, it does fill up a lot of space for something where we're just basically saying, hey, there was a patch and all these things got fixed. That's great, but it probably would be better suited to something you can just quickly glance at as opposed to taking up 20 minutes of a podcast. So we want to make the podcast a little quicker, a little more like punchy to the point, and then sort of like all the stuff that we would normally maybe fill it up with sort of divert that towards actual news coverage.
And there'll be crossover between the two at times. You'll see some of the stuff that's in the podcast will obviously, my goal is anything that's in the podcast should be somehow, some way integrated into the website, but not everything on the website will be integrated into the podcast. If that makes sense. So let's move in to our episode, episode 32. We are episode 32. We are Shaquille O'Neal. Or is he 34? I don't remember.
I don't fucking know.
I don't remember. I think I screwed that one. I think he's 34. I don't remember. It's been so long since I've played. This is our weekly dip in the world of indie games and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our indie excursions throughout the week. Topping it all off with a topic of discussion that you can join down in the comments below, or you can hit us up on Discord or Twitter or all that kind of stuff. Level 2 Gamers STL. If you want to see our lovely faces, you can head over to, as of right now, level2gamers.com. That might change, and then we might have to change. I'm going to work on how that's going to function going forward, but as of right now,
it'll still be there. It just you might have to look for it.
Yeah, level2gamers.com, or if you search us on YouTube, Level 2 Gamers STL, or subscribe and hit the button, then you'll know.
Just do it.
Or you can listen to us on your favorite podcast services: Google, SoundCloud,
Apple Podcasts,
Stitcher, all those fun places. But yeah, let's jump in.
Not bad for a couple of weeks off that.
I definitely went out of order there.
That's all right. It doesn't matter.
But let's jump in, as we always do, with the new releases for the Xbox. And what we're doing this time around, we kind of, in the essence of time, because I feel like there's moments where the new releases goes on for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of smash bang through a lot of them.
Pick one.
And then we're going to pick one we're going to jump into. So let's go and start off with the Xbox, new releases. And Xbox this week has quite a few, which is why we're doing the smash bang process.
Wham, bam, thank you, man.
And some of these are, as always, cross-platform, so they're on PlayStation, potentially on Switch as well. I am still going to read the description that Xbox has.
Okay.
But I'm not going to jump in. And
so what you're saying essentially is, Tom, shut up. I'm going to read this.
I'm going to go.
Got you.
The Walking Dead, the Telltale series, the final season, episode 1. Xbox One Enhanced. After years on the road facing threats, both living and dead, a secluded school might finally be Clementine and AJ's chance for a home. But protecting it will mean sacrifice. In this gripping, emotional final season, your choices define your relationships, shape your world, and determine how Clementine's story ends.
Super excited. Love that.
Fall of Light. Fall of Light is a story-driven action RPG set within a world consumed by darkness. You are Nyx, an old warrior who has embarked on a dangerous journey with his daughter, one, Aether, who radiates luminescence. Only together will they be strong enough to complete their quest and reach the last place on Earth still touched by light.
I thought you said his dogs for a second.
Daughters. State of Mind. This is the one we're going to jump into. The world is on the brink with the lack of resources, illnesses caused by polluted water and air, crime on the rise, and government promise remedies through technological progress. As Richard Nolan, one of the few journalists openly criticizing this development, find that his family have vanished, start that sentence again. As Richard Nolan, one of the few journalists openly criticizing his development, find that his family has vanished, you'll experience an alarmingly realistic version of the near future in the sci-fi thriller where dystopian reality and digital utopia are intertwined.
Big release.
This is a big one.
Yeah.
It looks cool. It reminds me, the art style reminds me a lot like Super Hot.
Yeah,
it's not quite. It's not. I don't say it's not quite finished because that's not the right word. But it's like that glassy looking material.
It's a colored in super. It's polygon.
Yeah,
is the proper term for it. But it's polygon art. This is one that I think this is probably lucky in the fact that it comes in the wake of the very, very popular Detroit Beyond Human, because a lot of people that played that game immediately after started looking into this game, and there was a lot of people in social media circles and streamer circles that were saying, hey, if you like Detroit Beyond Human, keep your eyes peeled for this one. So it already has way more eyeballs on it than I think it would have ever had if that game had not preceded it. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I understand you have a little bit more in the description there. So
this is a full description. Hold on for this one, guys.
Buckle up.
It's a long one. I'm going to zoom in so I can actually see it a little bit better. Boop. Cheating. When mind and machine become one, what will remain of humanity? Berlin, 2048. The world is on the brink. Lack of resources, illnesses caused by polluted water and air, crime on the rise, war. Governments and companies promise remedies through technological progress. Drones and humanoid robots replace humans in the public sector. Everything is interconnected. Surveillance has become omnipresent. Richard Nolan is one of the few journalists openly criticizing this development. When he wakes up in a hospital after an explosion and finds that his wife and son have mysteriously vanished, Richard realizes he and his family have become more than just bystanders in a storm of rivaling ideas pertaining humankind's salvation between dystopian reality and digital utopia. Instead, they find themselves right at the center of it. This domestic drama evolves into a thriller about a worldwide conspiracy which, at its core, aims to determine the fate of humanity. Could a perfect digital utopia be the answer? A virtual paradise not affected by material needs and quarrels? Could a super AI be our savior, or would it simply declare us as indispensable since it could not be taught the value of philanthropy? That's
philanthropy.
It. Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. I like that.
Philanthropy.
It's like a rap duo.
Yeah.
Philanthropy.
What will the world look like after this storm? What will remain of humanity? Features of the game. Experience an alarmingly realistic vision of our near future. That's actually sadly true.
Daunting.
Dive into a multi-layered sci-fi thriller where dystopian conspiracy in a society of ubiquitous digitalism, surveillance, and transhumanism.
Damn, son.
Transhumanism. Sorry.
Almost.
That's right. Transhumanism Explore a rich world and unique visual style, combining realistic elements with low-poly characters. Take the role of a journalist, Richard Nolan, as well as 5 additional playable characters to use dexterity, deductional skill, and research to reconstruct Richard's past.
So what do you think? Would you play it?
I'm interested in it. $40 is one of the, it's kind of where it's at. But even and this is partially because I haven't done a whole lot of research on this game. But that description there sounds really enjoyable. I'd have to see a little bit more personally from the aspect of what am I doing in the game? Like, you tell me about the story, but how do I make that story progress? Like, Detroit Become Human, what it does really well is it's obviously got a really solid story that's based on a lot of, I mean, the core theme is, in my opinion, like racism.
Oh yeah,
is the big thing.
That's the underlying metaphor.
Yes.
For sure.
And what they do really well though is they put you in these different scenarios of like, and it's weird because like it's how would you play versus how do you play your character? Like, do you role play or not? But they do it really well where like there's a lot of tense moments of like, I don't know what to choose.
That's
here.
what Quantic does really,
and that's what I'm hoping this does really well. And if it does, this game's gonna be awesome. If it doesn't, this game's gonna flop. It's a lot of these games are based on.
So far, I will say, I don't know if I would go as far as to say if it doesn't, it will flop, because so far most of the reviews that have come back have been in the 9 territory. So it definitely does what it does very well. I don't know how much of this though is on the sort of the Quantic level of deciding every little element of what's going on. I think there might be a little bit more gameplay than just kind of decisions. But you are a journalist, so there's definitely going to be a lot of kind of discovering things and researching things and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, everything so far that's come out on this game has been like exceptional. And the nice part about it is, even though we are using it as the Xbox pick of the week, because it is probably one of the strongest of this lineup.
It's on all 3 platforms.
It's on everything. It's on all 3 consoles, and then of course the PC as well. So yeah,
any one of you. Commodore 64.
Unfortunately,
it's not on that.
They probably could with the polygons. So
you're expecting too much.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, so it's a game that I personally think I'm going to go Switch for it. There is there was anyway, a pre-order discount for PlayStation folks. So if you picked it up on PlayStation, you would have had it a little cheaper than the $40, which is so far the only tipping point for me. Is that if it's $40, it bet to be longer than at least 10 to 12 hours.
Well, how long is Detroit? Detroit's only like 8.
About 10 to 12 hours.
I feel like Detroit was less than that. It was like 8.
Well, maybe 8 to 10.
And it was 60.
But it has a way higher production value than this.
Yes.
In terms of mocap performance, actual actors, graphics, etc., etc. So, you know, even though this is an indie game, I don't want to be like indie games can't earn money. But at the same time, like a lot more went into the production of Detroit as opposed to this. However, I'm not saying they haven't earned it. I just for my wallet anyway right now, that's steep. But everything about it so far makes me think I should buy it.
Cool. Moving on. Coffee Crisis. The alien Smurglian has come to Earth, and they're not leaving until they steal all
Smurglian?
of our... Yeah, Smurglian. 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 Leaving until they steal our 4 most prized commodities: metal music, coffee, cat videos, and Wi-Fi.
Wow.
In its arcade-style beat-em-up that pays homage to the 90s era of classic arcade and 16-bit brawlers, take control of Black Forge Coffee House baristas Nick and Ashley, 2 Galaxy gladiators called to arms to stop this madness.
Dope.
If you like old school
Streets of Rage.
Yeah. Wailing Heights. Inspired by the classic adventure games, you'll find yourself lost in a ghostly town of Wailing Heights. Well, you need to talk to the locals, collect lyrics to songs, listen to clues, and steal things from other songs. Wow, that's going to hit hard on our podcast. Listen to our podcast on Saturday. And these ingredients to your musical possession add these ingredients to your musical possession wheel and sing your soul right into a monster's body, gaining the supernatural abilities and moving one step closer to escaping Wailing Heights. Hero Defense. To destroy the most powerful vampire, your team of slayers must impale, slash, tear, and burn through legions of undead hell-bent on world domination. Take charge of 5 unique characters that battle their way through various arenas and defeat Count Narcosis. Fans of RTS, RPGs, and tower defense games will have a lot of fun, or we'll have a lot to like here. We'll have a lot of fun, I guess, as well.
Narcosis.
Fern's Gate. After waking in an unfamiliar woods, Alex, an ordinary high schooler living an ordinary life, That's okay, cool. Learns he has somehow ended up in Fernland, a world dominated by conflict and destruction. He'll have time to travel to the other side of the world and beyond to find his way back home in this full fantasy RPG full of monsters and colorful characters. Graveyard Keeper. Graveyard Keeper, from the creators of Punch Club, puts you in charge of building and managing your very own graveyard. That's actually kind of cool. That's a concept I've not heard. Find ways to keep costs low, expand into the entertainment business with witch-burning festivals, go on adventures into nearby dungeons and frighten your local villagers. I might have to look this one up as somebody.
That looks dope.
If it plays well, that's a really clever idea.
Yeah.
Shout out to them. That's like our plus.
Concept-wise.
Yes.
Neat.
I need to see game and how it's going to play. Polygod. Describing itself as blending a fast-paced Quake-esque feel with randomness, difficulty, and a power-up system of the Binding of Isaac. Polygod is designed for speedrunners, inviting only the most skilled and strategic players to defeat the trials of the gods. As a one-armed, gun-wielding assassin of legend, the 7 deities of Polygod will test your skills with randomly generated arenas of the hostile minions.
I guarantee I would hate that game.
I would too.
Everything about that.
Yes. Everything you said, I was like, nope.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying
it's not a game for
would
us.
fucking hate that game.
Dreadknots. Pilot your tank through competitive, gorgeous arenas to land a deadly shot on your opponents in Dreadknots. With a ton of useful tricks at your disposal, including treads that stick to any wall, boosters to mid-air hops, zero friction slides, and rocket jumps for soaring into the sky. It's all about moving with style to come out on top across the 4 playable zones, each with unique mechanics and physics objects.
Yeah, sounds okay.
This one is the other one I almost looked at. Drunk Foo, Wasted Masters. Xbox One Enhanced. Really? Or Xbox One X Enhanced.
Wow.
Master physics-defying drunk foo techniques by controlling your character's stumbling direction and unleashing powerful attacks with each individual limb. Team up with your friends to beat AI-controlled bullies in the swarm-like mode, or challenge each other in a free-for-all or last-man-standing modes to see who the true Wasted Master is. Again, great concept. Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, Xbox One X Enhanced.
Yay.
In Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, one player is trapped in a room with a ticking time bomb that they must defuse. The other players are experts who must give their instructions to defuse the bomb by deciphering the information found in the bomb defusal manual. Here's the catch. The experts can't see the bomb, so everyone will need to talk it out fast. Test your limits of your communication skills and friendships in this co-op party play. We're going to go a little bit more into this.
If you want to know more about that, yeah, either listen to the Switch segment or watch the actual footage of me and Keegan playing that game.
Tom sucks at that
in
game.
VR.
Persian Knights, Sand of Wonders. In the absence of Morality Ill King, okay, the Grand Visor...
In the absence of a mortally ill king.
Oh.
There you go.
Mortally Ill King. Grand Visor Zavd rules the kingdom with an iron fist, while a mysterious plague casts a dark shadow on the people of Persia. The young apothecary Terra decides to conduct her own investigation and discover the cause of the illness before it's too late in this puzzle game. And that's it for Xbox. We've got
Quite a lot.
Walking Dead, Fall of Light, State of Mind, Coffee Crisis, Wailing Heights, Hero Defense, Fern's Gate, Graveyard Keeper, Polygod, Dreadknots, Drunk Foo, Wasted Masters, Keep Talking Nobody Explodes, and Persian Knights, Sand of Wonders. All those are pretty solid. There's a couple in there that I'm like,
yeah,
like
there's some
Polygod.
sketch. But there's definitely a few I would at least
cool
dig
concepts
into a trailer for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move in to the PlayStation, see what PlayStation's got going on. Some of these, if they're the same, I'm just going to say them and I'm going to move on, just because there's no point in repeating myself.
Absolutely.
But this week on PlayStation, we have Death's Gambit. Death's Gambit is a hardcore 2D action platformer with RPG elements. Master the precise combat and confront the horrors that lurk deeper within
Looks
Ceridon.
a lot like Dead Cells, that.
A little bit. Detective Gallo. Detective Gallo is a point-and-click comic noir adventure that is entirely hand-illustrated and hand-animated, and whose protagonist is a feathery and grumpy private eye.
Sounds good.
Doggone Golfing. Doggone Golfing is a fun pick-up-and-play arcade golf game where cute dogs slap hockey pucks around the globe. Play your angles just right and you can become the legendary K9 puck master.
Worth pointing out, if you're looking for that, by the way, and especially if you're on audio, it's not doggone golfing. It's dog space gone space golfing.
Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2 revives the old action platform run-and gun genre with humor added. In the sequel to Guns, Gore, and Cannoli, Vinnie Cannoli's story continues, and this time it's personal. This is the one we're going to jump in a little bit deeper. I'm going to read a little bit about the game here, just so you guys can have an idea, and then we'll discuss kind of our thoughts on it, because, again, neither of us have played this. History, 1944. The war in Europe is finally entering the final stage. Can I zoom in on this? No? I was hoping to make this font bigger.
Nope.
There we go.
There you go.
I can see it now. 15 years have passed since Vinny survived the Thugtown massacre, but now some loose ends start crawling out of the past, dragging Vinny as far as the European battlefield of World War II. Find out who is chasing Vinny around like a dog, turning all of his friends into foes. Some of the features. Hold on, because there's a lot of text here. Upgraded character mobility. Vinny has received a massive upgrade in his mobility features. 360 aiming, double jumping, kicking, jump kicking, dodge rolling, somersaults, dual guns, and a weapon wheel. Campaign mode. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2 features a full, single, or multiplayer campaign mode packed with action, humor, and animated cutscenes. Rich environments. We pushed our artists to the limits to produce the best immersive atmospheric background, smoothest animations, and the coolest special effects, setting a new benchmark for 2D games, which I agree, the game looked really pretty when we watched the trailer.
Yeah.
Looking for opportunities to bring down walls, explode barrels, drop crates on top of enemies, blow up cars, kick your enemies through doors, enjoy watching corpses of your enemies fly through the air like ragdolls after you blast them away with your rocket launcher. Immersive world and period. Walk around in the European battlefields of World War II. Every level of Guns, Gore, and Cannoli breathes in the 1940s. Every inch of the game is like a picture straight from the Second World War era. The cars, the furniture, the speakeasy clubs, the music, the propaganda posters, the streets, the weaponry reflected the turbulent time of the 1940s. Online and local co-op mode. Boop, boop. Shout out for that. You don't want to die alone in the trenches. Well, round up a platoon of up to 4 players and get blasting. Play as Vinny in the solo campaign, or have up to 3 of your friends jump in at any time and play together while fighting through hordes of Nazis, zombies, monsters, gangsters, cops, soldiers, tanks, submarines in this all-new, incredibly fun arcade-style co-op action game. Teamwork is essential to surviving waves of enemy goons. Humor! War is hell, unless you're Vinny Cannoli, and you turn every problem into a cynical joke, blurting out one-liners and snappy comments after a nice, juicy kill. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2 will be a fun experience not only to play, but also to watch. Funny one-liners, screaming deaths, comic dialogues, and hilarious enemies will make you play this violent kill simulator with a smirky grin on your face. So we watched the trailer for this, and I'm quite surprised.
I was too, because I don't think I've played the first one. I remember digging into it because I'm a big fan of like mafia stuff. I used to love that stuff. And
for those of you who speak English, it's mafia.
Yeah, and when I speak American, it's mafia.
Yeah.
And I remember kind of looking at it when it came out, watching the trailer and stuff, seeing a little bit of gameplay online, and thinking, meh. Like it didn't look bad.
I think having the World War II setting helps a lot because it gives them a focus of what to build around.
And watching the gameplay to this one looked way, way different to watching it to the last one. I think that the biggest part of that is the upgrade character mobility. Talking about the 360-degree aiming, the dodge rolls, jump kicks, things like that. Like that stuff is all kind of like interestingly different to the previous version of it. And with the multiplayer co-op and stuff, I mean that's our bread and butter. Awesome. So yeah, honestly.
Potentially might stream this at some point.
Yeah, it looked all right. It reminds me a lot of obviously it's like Contra-style gameplay or Sunset Riders for those of you that are familiar with that era of gaming. But yeah, it looks all right. It looks a little chaotic maybe at times, but it's a dope looking game.
And it is $12 full price, and you can currently get the first version of the game for $4 on sale.
$12.99.
Yeah, it was $13, and the first one's $10. So, yeah, I honestly will probably pick this up, and we should stream it at some point because it looked really cool.
It looked crazy, but it looked fun.
Yes, it looked like one of those games that a lot of stupid shit's gonna happen, but it's meant to be an arcade style game. Yeah. So that is Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2. Moving on. Hero Defense, PS4, out digitally at 16. In order to destroy the world's most powerful vampire, your team of slayers must impale... That's the same thing they had on the other description. Exact same description. I was like, wait a second. Persians of the Night, Sands of the Wonders, Phantom Doctrine.
This is different.
The year is 1983. I was not born.
I was.
The world, tweeters on the edge. Teeters. Sorry. World tweeters. Tweet.
World tweeters.
The world teeters on the edge, on the verge of destruction as the Cold War tightens its icy grip. East or west. Trust no one, question everything. The fate of humanity rests in your hands as you pit spy versus spy in Phantom Doctrine.
It looks like XCOM.
Yes, it's XCOM style, RTS, turn-based.
Little bit more kind of objective-based, maybe, than kill everything-based, but still. Yeah. I thought it looks alright. I would buy it.
State of Mind, we talked about already a little bit.
Looks great.
Looks fantastic. Super Knight Riders. Super Knight Riders is a modern arcade racing game inspired by retro classics. It's all about traveling as fast as you can while dodging rival riders and reaching each checkpoint before the time hits zero. It's an
terrible name, good art.
Yeah, well, it's got a pretty lady on it. TerraTech. If you love building games and like just crafting games, TerraTech's the game to look at. Explore, build, craft, and battle across alien worlds in this physics-based construction sandbox adventure. Scavenge, craft, and buy new parts in order to survive and become the ultimate planetary prospector. I'm interested to see how this works on...
The Terra on here stands for terraforming.
Yeah. Well, Terra means Earth, world, land.
Terraforming
Terra means
like
land. You're forming the land.
Something into like a
no, terraforming
habitat.
means you're manipulating the land. That's literally what it means by definition.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
No, you're wrong. Dreadknots. Gracefully pilot your tank through gorgeous arenas. We already talked about that one. Vroom kaboom! Doesn't this have PSVR features?
Yeah, it does.
I'm going to talk about it a little bit now, because it's Vroom kaboom! A tower rush with vehicles. Vroom kaboom combines elements from a collectible card game, tower defense, and multiplayer online battles. Engage in 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3 battles.
No 4v4?
No 4v4.
Disappointing.
Yeah, and even take it to the roads in a full-featured VR mode, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point on Codename Morpheus.
We have a key for it, so that'll probably be next week's thing.
Well, 2 weeks.
2 weeks thing.
Look out for the review, though, potentially next week.
Maybe.
Wailing Heights. We talked about it. Looks cool. Walking Dead. The final season. Episode 1 is out. So, yeah, I'm excited. Again, I feel like this week is a pretty solid week. Some of them are obviously the same crossover. Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2, I think, is probably...
It's been low on the AAA front. Yes. But the indies have been pretty solid.
We're getting to the point of the year where all the AAAs are going to drop. Oh, yeah. We're in that weird...
Spider-Man's around the corner.
Spider-Man, Red Dead, other big games that I can't think of right now. EA. It's going to drop. Madden just came out, or about to come out next week. Yeah. Moving on to the Nintendo Switch. And here's your Switch games for this week. State of Mind is $40.
That was my Switch. It was a bit delayed, but...
Yeah, it was. Sorry. You were way off. Yep. Castle Storm is $14.99. Johnny Turbo's Arcade Nitro Ball.
Of course.
$7.
Where's our ACA? I don't see any ACA.
There's no... Hold on. We haven't made it to the end.
All right.
Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes is $15. We're going to talk a little bit more about this game because we played this game.
Yep.
Let me read the little blurb they got here. Keep talking, nobody explodes. One player is trapped in a room with a ticking time bomb they must defuse. The other players are experts, but they can't see the bomb. Pretty much what we said before. Rounds are fast-paced, tense, occasionally silly, and almost always loud. Puzzle solving and communication skills, and maybe a few friendships will be put to the test as players race against time to defuse the bomb as quickly and as effectively as possible. Features: challenging puzzle, test limits of your communication skills and friendships. A different bomb every time. Procedurally generated puzzles keep the action fresh. Local co-op party game. Bomb defusing is a team endeavor. Going solo is not an option. The bomb manual is available for free at bombmanual.com and can be rented or viewed from any tablet or any other web-enabled device.
We printed it. We have a hard copy.
Yeah. We did. So, Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes is a really cool game. It's one of those games where you have to, like I said, there's no solo in it. Yeah. You have to. It's a party game.
You need a friend. So.
But I think it's a lot of fun in the aspect of it reminds me of those old school party games where you're hanging out with your friends back when online wasn't a thing. And you can't argue that we had, as much as we yelled at each other at times during the thing, or just like were frustrated. It's like Overcooked. When you get it though, you're like, fuck yeah! Like you have that sense of accomplishment.
It's a very unique concept. It's done very well. It's implemented very well.
I'm interested to see how it works because we've only played it VR.
Yeah.
And it's now out on
I honestly kind of feel
Switch,
like
Xbox and PlayStation.
I honestly kind of feel like VR is probably the best way to play it, considering you feel like you're in the room with the bomb and it won't explode.
But if you don't have PSVR, it's another way to get it.
It doesn't mean it's not an enjoyable game.
Also, I don't know. I didn't read anywhere. I think if you own the PSVR version, you get the non-VR version.
I imagine
it's free. It's just an update
or something. Yeah.
Versus on Xbox and Switch, it's obviously never been there before, so it's a new game.
Switch might be interesting with the Joy-Cons and everything. I'm not quite.
Well, I'm just
sure
thinking. I'm thinking Switch would be cool. Like I told you, we got a code for it. Full disclosure for Switch, but we've already covered it, so we're gonna play it at some point. But I was thinking like cons or something, like when we have friends together, or we do like a game night. How cool would it be to do it on the Switch because of the portability of it? Like it's one of those things. Like, could you picture? Back in the day, people would sit down with their 3DS and play Pokemon or whatever whatever game Nintendo dropped that week. Yeah, you have a party of just spontaneity with a game like this, and you don't need to necessarily know the people. You just need to problem solve.
We had a party breakout on our booth at Pixel Pop where someone put a Switch on our table and started playing Mario Tennis with the person next to them. I was like, "That's so cool that's a thing that can happen now." Both of them just like. So. But yeah, keep talking. Nobody explodes. It is a solid game. It's a solid indie game, which support the developer. It's not very expensive at all. Yeah, $15 and a lot of fun overall. So yeah, recommended.
Next one, Manual Samuel is $10 on Nintendo Switch.
That looks goofy.
Next up, Heroes $20. Bread's Kingdom $10. Roboto. It's ROBBOTTO. Roboto is $10. Detective Gallows $15. Persian Knights Sand of Wonders is $15.
On everything apparently.
Polygod is $15.
Dreadknots
is $10. And I believe that is it for this week. Actually, no, you got Spectrum is $12 as well.
Cool.
So that's it for Nintendo Switch this week. Those are your weekly roundups. So again, the ones we kind of wanted to point out is you've got Keep Talking Nobody Explodes. You've got
Guns, Gore, and
Cannoli 2.
And State of Mind.
Which I think, other than Guns, Gore, and Cannoli 2, those are all on every platform.
Yeah,
I think that's a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, normally I'll pick up a game like State of Mind for PlayStation, but I am actually going to go Switch with it this time because I've been trying to put more indies on the Switch just as a to-go option. I've had a lot of fun with Hollow Knight, and I just picked up Dead Cells for Switch as well. So yeah, I'm going to pick it up for that. But yeah, good times.
Cool. Well, let's move on to the heart and meat of this.
The heart and
details. The heart and meat. You eat it and you pump it.
Which one, the meat?
The details.
Sorry.
And now on to the details. Detail number 1. There's a little Switch game that came out, an indie game, that a lot of people thoroughly enjoyed, Tom. And I have a big news announcement for this guy.
Cool.
Octopath Traveler shipped over 1 million copies worldwide.
Yeesh. That's amazing.
A couple days ago, Square Enix announced on the official Twitter account that Octopath Traveler surpassed a relevant shipment milestone. To be more precise, the game passed a million between shipments and digital downloads. Tweet can be seen on below. This is from DualShockers.com, by the way, and it says 1 million thanks, or 1 million travelers, 1 million thanks, and then it has, I'm assuming, Japanese. I don't know where Octopath is based.
Yeah, it's Japanese.
While the marketing support from Nintendo has certainly helped, this is massively impressive achievement for a game like Octopath Traveler that definitely is more niche than most. Square Enix has been trying to release retro-style JRPGs for a while now, but they haven't really met with overwhelming success. Octopath Traveler clicked with an audience and hopefully will lead to further games in this vein. The game also had reported shortages in stores, which means that there's definitely a hunger for this type of game.
Yeah, I mean, so you got a JRPG, the first one in a long time that echoes the JRPGs of old. Mm-hmm. It's because I mean, all the Final Fantasies and things like that at this point have all become you know, 3D monoliths. Like, they're all these kind of like, let's see how fancy we can make these graphics and how large we can make these landscapes. Octopath is a throwback to the old school. It's a throwback to kind of like that era, but still with these amazingly rendered graphics and visual scenery.
It reminds me of like Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is a new game that is harkening back to the core of what Sonic was.
They definitely put a lot more work into the visuals in Sonic Mania. But Sonic Mania was like a perfect copy of that era of game because it was copying it exactly. Yes, and they just changed the levels.
But what's funny is, but you remember, like, the problem people had, like, when I went to go play Crash, like the Insane Trilogy, and I'm sure they're going to have the same thing when Spyro comes out, is people remember games differently when they were.
Nostalgia's a bitch.
And to me, Sonic Mania felt like one of those games that captured that feeling
it felt the
because
same.
it modernized it, which is hard to do.
It was exactly Sonic, but it just felt new and fresh because of what they'd done to the levels as opposed to what they'd done to anything else. But Octopath, because it's a new game, you're not really expecting it to play like anything else. You don't think, oh, this is going to be Final Fantasy VI. You know it's a new genre or a new IP. But no, I'm unsurprised it did amazingly well because they definitely did have great marketing. But you know the one thing that I think pushed that beyond anything else? They released a fucking demo for it, which is something that Nintendo is doing way better than any other platform right now because they're releasing demos for things that are not multi-platform, that are like for exclusive.
Or they'll have their online weekends, like with Splatoon
right,
2.
Exactly. But like
whatever they called it.
All their demos so far have been like a fucking that game. They had Kirby, they had Toad Treasure Tracker. Like they're releasing demos for the exclusives, which makes so much sense. Can you imagine? Like even though God of War obviously did it fantastic, imagine if like Sony had done demos for God of War. You know, it was like, I don't know. It was
Detroit. Detroit
did have a demo. Detroit did, but it was like a week before it came out.
Well, it was only the because it's the very first thing when you meet
Connor.
Not Connor. Well, you meet Connor, but what was the other android's name? I can't remember. Story motion.
Connor's the main.
Yeah, but the guy on the rooftop.
The guy on the rooftop. I can't remember his name. Yeah.
But where that really got me hooked, though, it's funny because like that first scene, like that was cool.
Oh yeah.
But the second scene when you go to Todd's house, that's where I was like, oh fuck, I know what I'm in for.
Yeah. It starts getting dark.
There.
Yeah. Just like
real dark.
Quantic.
I did a playthrough, and this is a little bit of sidetrack, but I did part of my playthrough. Like I watched Jacksepticeye do his playthrough because I knew it would be fun to watch, so I started doing one myself. But I started doing it opposite of what he did. So when he went to go save her, I would sit there for a second. Oh, it's so hard to just not do anything. Like it's designed to make you feel guilty. That's kind of part and parcel of it. But no, I think that's what the success can be due because people still love JRPGs. The people that were playing JRPGs in their heyday are still alive. Like they're not dead. They're just in their 30s and 40s now, and we still want them. So you just got to find the right balance of how to do it and not make it feel A, like a ripoff, and B, cheap.
Yeah, don't do a direct copy. Use that play style, but freshen it up some, and that's what Octopath did amazingly well, and super value for money. It's a huge game.
The only complaint I think I heard from that game is that the stories don't really intertwine.
I do also hear that it gets a little samey towards the end, but I'm nowhere near it, so I have no idea. Yeah.
Detail number 2. This is The Police 2, coming to consoles September 25th, 2018.
There's a date now.
It does have a date. After its recent successful escape attempt on PC, This is the Police 2 will launch. I was going to say land and launch at the same time. Launch on PS4 computer entertainment system.
Wow.
Nintendo Switch. Fancy. And Xbox One family of devices, including Xbox One X, on September 25th, 2018. This is the Police 2, a little bit about it. A mixture of adventure and management game. This is the Police 2 picks up the original's baton and introduces new mechanics that strengthen the strategic and tactical elements of the series. Now it's not simply enough to manage your police force's equipment and individual skills. Every challenge requires your direct participation in tactical combat scenes where outcomes hinge on your decisions. Subordinates are not just some resource. They are living people with their own strengths, weaknesses, fears, and prejudices, and you'll have to grapple with all these components in order to survive. I'm excited because obviously we're primarily console-based. A lot of times I feel like the wait time between when it launches on PC to when it comes to console is a long time, potentially. Like TerraTech has been out for like 2 years on PC.
Yeah.
So
Subnautica was on fucking forever before it hit Xbox.
They're about to do a DLC for Subnautica. I'm excited.
Still hasn't even come to the PlayStation.
No.
Yeah.
No, has it?
Not yet. Coming this fall, I think.
Maybe. Yeah. doesn't say. I know they, because I was like, I know they announced something.
There was VR talks in the whole thing, which if that does happen,
well, it has the VR
very
support on PC, so it'd be fucking terrifying. though, I'll tell you that.
Nah, not for me.
But I'm excited because, again, as somebody who primarily plays console, like I feel like a lot of times indie games, unless it's Nintendo Switch, but people can't fucking get on Switch. It feels like.
I mean, the Steam store has 10 times the amount of indie games that the consoles do. Yes. But I mean, with good reason, it's way easier to.
But as somebody who is primarily in that gated wall that is the consoles, it's nice to get these games over, and I'm excited that we have a date.
And the first one was good. I don't think
it sounds like this one expands on that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like this one's better. The one thing about the first one that did bother me a little bit was it was super heavy on the management side of things. There wasn't really a whole lot of getting down and dirty with like actual things. It sounds like people were maybe asking for that, and that's why it's shown up. So yeah, I'll probably try that and see how it feels.
And our final detail for the week, a Hat in Time special announcement, and that's in quotes, teased for Gamescom.
Ooh.
Did you ever play Hat in Time? I never played it. I want to play it. That was a 3D platformer that is like right up my alley.
I requested it, but we didn't get the key. Stare at the screen. Stare at the screen. We didn't get the key. It's supposed to help me out now. We're trying to make the developers feel guilty for not giving us the key, so we get the key.
But then you don't want to guilt trip on somebody giving you a key. They want to give me a key on your merits.
Nah.
Not even a year after the release of A Hat in Time, developer Gears for Breakfast appears to have more to say about the 3D platformer. A, quote, special announcement, end quote, about the game will come during Gamescom, according to a fun tweet from the game's official account. The tweet offered no specific details, only sharing a cute GIF, or GIF, depending on how you say it, of the characters GIF, Hat Girl and DJ Grooves showing off some sick dance moves. The quirky action-adventure title was inspired by Nintendo 64 platformers such as Mario 64 and Banjo-Kazooie, but the hopes of Nintendo fans were dashed when Gears for Breakfast denied that the game would come to Switch in a now-deleted tweet. With a few ideas of what this announcement could be, some are holding to the hope that developers change their minds and will bring A Hat in Time to the console. The game eventually made its way on PS4 and Xbox One, eventually reaching a milestone of over 500,000 copies sold this past summer. A Switch port could bring A Hat in Time to a large audience, or perhaps the announcement will simply be new DLC, or a special re-release of the game to commemorate its success. Soon we'll find out when Gamescom begins on August 21st.
It's Switch. Easy. Hands down.
I don't know.
It has to be.
No
one makes a big fuss out of DLC. No one makes a big fuss out of a re-release.
First of all, I beg to differ. Far Cry just released their Mars DLC. That shit was everywhere.
I don't remember hearing about it. I didn't even know it existed.
You don't follow games media, though.
Yeah. But I watched Gamescom and shit like that.
Yeah, but they're not gonna.
They don't do like DLC announcements. Well, they do sometimes, but like
wait. They don't do DLC announcements, but a game called Horizon Zero Dawn announced a DLC.
Finish, but AAA titles with massive success, like Horizon Zero Dawn, might get away with it. I don't think an indie game's going to get away with it.
Even if the indie game's a massive success, you're telling me if PUBG,
you're pitting Horizon.
You're telling me if PUBG or if Fortnite comes out and announces a DLC...
And those two games are indie now, how?
They're indie. They're developed by indie developers.
But at this point, they've passed the threshold into, like, selling millions and millions and millions of copies, not 500,000.
That's just this past summer.
If Octopath Traveler announced DLC, that I could see as something that might be worthy of putting on stage at a Nintendo event. But this, it has to be something bigger, I think, personally. I don't know. I mean, it might be fucking DLC. I'm just saying, I think if you're going to go out of your way...
When this game launched, it was a huge deal. And there's a very dedicated fan base that follows this game like nobody's business.
When did this game launch?
I can tell you in a second.
All right, so while you're looking that up, this game launched, I would say, a good couple months ago, right? So it came out...
October 5th, 2017.
Okay, so almost a year ago. Mm-hmm. So the game came out a year ago. It's had its 500,000 copies. What's the easiest way to keep this game persistent and make a fuck ton of money really fast? Release it on a fucking Switch.
Yeah, but I still think...
They'll make double that on the Switch. Easy. It's a Nintendo platformer.
It passed 500,000 copies in July.
And it's a Nintendo platformer. There's no way in hell it's not a Switch announcement. We'll find out. I mean, we'll follow up on it.
No.
And then if the conversation, if they announce a DLC, you win. If they announce Switch, I win. And then we'll
well, I think
you
if they
buy me a copy, I'll buy you a copy.
I think if they announce Switch, then we then everybody wins. Because it needs to be on Switch.
Yeah, agreed.
I think that's what it should be.
Switch users win,
but I don't want
specifically. But yes.
Well, I don't think that... Well, the developer wins, too.
Yeah, they definitely win.
I don't want to say, like, that's what it is, but that's what it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
But that's our details for the week. Again, Octopath Traveler shipped over 1 million copies worldwide. This is the Police 2 is coming to consoles on September 25th, 2018. And A Hat in Time has a, quote, special announcement at Gamescom. So, that's your details. Let's move in to our spotlight next, and we're going to get and take some joy and cover We Happy Few. And now on to our spotlight. And this week, like I said, we're taking our joy, Tom. We're going to play some We Happy Few. Well, I played some We Happy Few. Did you have so We Happy Few has been early access on Xbox for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Quite a while.
Game has changed a lot. Did you ever play it? Have you ever played it at all?
I watched you play it. We did a little bit of a bite on it, I believe, back in the day. And so I was with you while you were playing it. I never played it because, frankly, the survival stuff put me off quite a lot. And but it sucks because when I saw the trailer, I was super impressed by it and I was excited for it. But I understand that a lot of that has been tweaked.
Yes.
So tell me about it.
I'm going to start off by saying the day 1 patch, or day 0 patch as they called it, because we had a full disclosure, we had the code from the developer from a while ago.
A year ago.
Yeah, over a year ago. And then they updated us when it was going full release. And the day 0 patch, day 1 patch, which if you download the game, this is what's going to happen. But if you did have the early access game, here is the bug fixes that happened day 1. There's specifically 559 of them. I'm not going to read them all, obviously. But 559 bug fixes, including general improvement in the AI, spawning, pathing, animation, improvements in balance, drop rate, crafting recipes, multiple fixes in the save system, fixed various game crash moments in Arthur's Quest O Behave, fixed progression blockers in Arthur's Quest Future Perfect, fixed progression blockers in Arthur's Quest Britannia, fixed progression blockers, so it sounds like they had progression blocker issue.
Fixed a bunch of progression blockers.
Fixed an often crashed cause when generating a map for a new game. All these main quests and side quests will now give sufficient skill points to unlock all skills. Cutscene now triggers properly for Sally's quest, Gland of Hope and Glory. Arthur can now target parade wellies. Fixed a rare startup crash. So, We Happy Few. Like you said, we played it when it first came out, and I did not expect it to be as survival-y as it was. And that's where I was turned off from the game, and it sounds like...
Which is weird because you like survival games.
Yeah, but I felt like it was too survival because I wanted to enjoy the story in that.
Right.
So
it does have a fantastic story.
It does. Yeah. At least as far... I've only played about an hour of the new version of it, but follow us on twitch.tv/Level2GamersSTL. And I will hopefully be streaming more and more of it. I want to complete the game on there because it's that fun. I had my first jump scare and I kept going.
It's great.
Yeah, I clipped it, highlighted.
I didn't think it was going to be as intense as you made out, but then when I watched it, I was like, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah,
I was like, that was a scream.
You couldn't
that
see
was
him
a scream like a girl and make this kind of motion.
I watched Jacksepticeye play the same section after I finished, and he did the same. He didn't. He's like, oh fuck.
It was a recoil in terror.
Yeah,
which I like.
But anyway, so We Happy Few, there's a couple things to talk about with it. One, what is it? It's a dystopian world, like an alternate timeline for World War II, where kind of Nazi Germany, has been successful in what it does. And you're based, I assume you're in the UK, because everybody speaks English.
That's a good,
like British
good
English.
Solid detective work.
But there's 5 different areas. I know Wellington Wells is the main area you start into, and then you got to get to what's called the parade by taking the train. All this kind of stuff. But the big thing with it is the art style. That's what grabs most people. And it's got, I'm going to call it the mime look, where everybody's got the white face going on. I don't know what you really would call it. But
no, I mean, mime is good.
I've never played BioShock, but people said it reminds them a lot of BioShock.
As far as atmosphere, yeah.
Yeah, with the atmosphere, the dreariness of it. So, We Happy Few, at its core, is still a survival game. It's you crafting and surviving by eating food, whatever it may be, to get to the next progression of the story. That being said, they have multiple game modes like Subnautica has, where you can choose to, like for me, for the stream, I'm playing it on easy because I want to get through the story. I don't want to grind to eat food or drink water all the time, which I was telling somebody the other day that I probably will go back and play that game again with potentially on PS4, with a a normal playthrough, like just to see how different.
Oh
it is.
yeah, I'm turning all that shit off.
Yeah, which is well, there's still like health and all that, but
you can turn this. You can turn the survival elements, I believe, completely off.
That's what
happy few as well.
That's what. Yeah. So easy mode is that.
Oh, okay.
Easy mode is nothing. No survival, which I like.
I mean, you
because
can still die, but
yeah, but it's no.
Not
It's
to
you
that.
don't have to eat food to survive, which I like because again, as somebody who's streaming it, it's a more fun adventure to go through the story with somebody than it is. Oh, hold on, guys, I gotta go cook some food back in my house, and then we'll go back on our adventure. So that's cool. And obviously, you have more challenge. You have different levels from there that unlock certain survivability. There's multiple characters. The main character you play, the main story is around Arthur. So Arthur is
Knight of the Realm.
No. Arthur, from what I've gathered, Arthur is a journalist who doesn't necessarily go with the flow when it comes to taking his joy, which joy is pills to basically mask the bad things going on around you. It's a happy pill, is the best way to put it. And so the very beginning of the game, I actually, on my stream, I finished the game within 10 minutes. So fun fact, at the very beginning of the game, you have the option, Arthur is a journalist, and you choose kind of what you approve or redact from the local news. And one of the things I redacted, and I won't say which one, affected what happened to the story, and the story's like, you're done. And I had the credits roll, and I was like, is this like pre-roll credits? Is this like, what's happening here? And I was like, I went back to the title screen, I was like, oh, I won.
One of those Far Cry.
I was waiting for the trophy to pop. I was like, no, I didn't get a trophy. Or the achievement, I guess, on Xbox. But so when you go in, the game starts out of you in your office, you're doing your job, redacting, and then as you go along, you go into this area with other people that invite you. They're having a party, and everybody's seen this. It's in all the trailers, but the game turns from when you don't, because you don't take your joy, you go in and then they go to hit a pinata, and the pinata turns out to be a rat that is murder, and they're all eating it. So you kind of get that sense of like, what the fuck is going on here? You then get chased by the cops for not taking your joy, and you get thrown into the world, and that's where the game starts. So everything from that point on was new to me. So the beginning section was the same stuff I've played. There's some sections in the open world that are the same, obviously, but the story itself is more fleshed out. I had point A, point B, point C to go to, of like, instead of just wandering around trying to stay alive, like, what the hell am I doing? The tutorial, so much better. If you're just jumping in, I recommend getting in now versus before, because the tutorial shows you what you need to do. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about my first hour in the game. And the experience I had with it was, my goal was to go through and kind of do the story. I'm going to do side quests as things go along. There are things to discover. There's what's called dig sites, which I'm interested to see what those are. I've got a couple of clues for where those are, but I'm not far enough in the map to get to that point yet. So I was doing the story. I go up to this general looking dude, and my goal is to get to the train station to go to this different area. And he goes, there's a door that's blocked, and he's like, you need a power cell and you need a swipe card to get through this door.
Power cells and swipe cards.
Yes, to get through this door. So he sends you off to this underground like fight club area. And it's funny because the humor in this game is spot on. So he at the end, everything's voice acted. So during this dialogue scene, you're going through and you're like, this sounds dangerous.
Nope. Do it in my accent.
No. This sounds dangerous. And the guy goes, yeah, why do you think I'm sending you? Like, stuff like that. I love that kind of humor. But when you get to the fight club area, that's part of the tutorial, teach you how to do combat. So you're literally put into, these cops arrest you, they take you down, and it's a fight to the death. And you learn kind of how to craft and all that down there, pick up weapons, swap weapons, all that kind of stuff. So from there, you then excursion off. And I did a little bit of exploring. So the creepiest moment outside of my jump scare that I found was I was walking around the open world. And again, you want to pick up supplies for crafting. So you can craft, use bobby pins to craft lockpicks. Compulsion Games did one of the greatest things ever when it comes to the crafting system. So most crafting systems, you either have to go into the menu and craft something, or you have to go to a table or whatever it may be. And I'm sure later on there'll be tables and stuff like that. But for a lockpick, which is something you use a lot in this game, like I said, played for an hour, I've used probably 12 to 15 of them. If you don't have one crafted, but you have the materials, you just push the button, it'll auto-craft it and use it for you. It takes a little bit longer.
Like as you're at the door?
Yeah, as you're at the door, you just hold the button. It seems like it takes maybe 3 or 4 seconds longer, which it should because you're crafting it.
And you didn't have the time to pre-prepare. Like if you're in a tense moment, that actually kind of sucks, which is good.
So I love that aspect that I didn't have to go to my menu and go back out. So you're going through all that kind of stuff, and then but getting back to the scariest moment or the creepiest moment I had was I was walking through town and I hear like this child's jukebox music. I don't know, you know if you heard it, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, horror movie kids music. Yeah, sure.
So I walk into this house, I'm like, what is this? And I see a crib sitting there, and I was like, fuck that. And I just booked it out of there. But you can explore that house, or I'm sure
you didn't want to see the demon baby?
No. There's writings on the wall and stuff. Like I did look at the wall, and it looked like two parents with their heads like X'd out, like scratched out. Yeah. So there's dark undertones to this game.
I really want to play it, man. I'm gonna have to pick it up. I'm kind of resigned myself to waiting for a sale just because it's $60. But it's just so tempting.
The big issue I have with the game, it was $30 when it first launched.
Early access.
Now full release, it's $60. I can't say whether it's worth that $60 yet because I've not put enough time into it. But if early game is an indication, I would say yes. But I don't know for sure. I'm trying to stay off reviews. I don't want to learn anything about the game. I want to go through it as completely blind as I can because I think it's a lot of fun. I love the atmosphere of the game, the way that it flows and all that. But if you like survival games, you're going to like this game. If you don't want to do the survival aspect, I feel like the story is strong enough to continue going. Like, when I finished the stream, I only streamed for about an hour because I knew what I was going to use that footage for, which was for this. If you're watching, I pointed behind, or
I hope the
jump
scare is included in this.
It will be because it's near the beginning.
Oh, good. If not, I'll put it in.
But I want to go back. When I finished streaming, I was like, dude, that was so much fun. But I found a natural end of like I went to the next area. The very ending of the playthrough you're seeing behind me, if you go to Twitch, you can see the VOD, or you go to YouTube, I put it up there as well. You go through this archway, and it's just an archway taking you to the next area, and there's these people just hanging, and Arthur does a little dialogue of like, we used to do this, and this, and that's how, and you kind of have this moment of like coming to reality from the joy. So the joy hasn't taken too much effect yet. Like I haven't had to take any yet, so I'm interested to see how that works. The other thing that works really well is based on your appearance, certain characters will interact with you or not, or
hate you or not.
Hate you or not. So like I had a posh suit going on, and I was going to a not so posh area of town, and this lady warned me saying, hey, you need to change your clothes, otherwise people will attack you because you look different. Or you can sit down and read a newspaper and blend in. That's one of Arthur's skills. You have a whole skill tree that you have. Each character has 4 unique traits to them. So like Arthur's is the blend in trait. He walks faster than other people. I can't remember what the other 2 are. And then there's a skill tree that you actually can level up.
It definitely sounds, I don't want to say, I mean, there's definitely elements of Bioshock in there, absolutely. Like walking through Rapture, walking through Columbia, if you play Bioshock Infinite, like a lot of the tonal changes to the environments and things are kind of like twisted versions of the real world. But it also has like, to me, a lot of what it sounds like is hints of Dishonored as well. Do you ever play Dishonored? Dishonored was very, very sort of similar thing, but it was more like, it was more managed. So rather than being like, I mean, even though Bioshock was pretty open, Dishonored was a little bit more closed, at least the first one was. And again, it was like the dirty streets of London, rats everywhere and that kind of stuff. And so it was like, it gave me vibes of that. And the art style is actually quite similar in a way as well, like really like skinny, pointy faces and stuff, you know.
It reminds me of Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, you know, this game kind of surprises me a bit because this is a game that I've seen a mask, the official mask, in a Halloween store last year. No,
2 years ago. 2
years ago, when it was early access and no one was really talking about it. And then I saw recently, I was in a toy store in a mall close to us, and this was again before the game is released. There's a figurine of one of the characters.
Which the art style this looks so cool. Like I would love to have figurines.
But you know, like that's a lot of like. I mean, before the games even come out, they have Halloween masks and figurines in stores. Licensed? You know, I guess
that's what I would love to know.
I mean, it has like the official logo and everything on it. So I think Compulsion Games liked our Instagram of it. So yeah, so it's kind of like, it's interesting. It's like they almost like knew that it was going to be big or at least semi-successful, but they did have the big reveal and everything at a keynote. I forget which one.
E3 2016, I think.
Yeah. So like. We kind of all knew it was going to do well. I'm really glad that it sounds
The only
good.
issue I have with the game is I don't want to hype it up too much because it's not a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. There's animation issues, there's bug like I had ragdoll effects are always fun, but I had one guy where he would just like twitch the whole time, and he would just convulsively twitch, and that happened a few times where like there's a collision issue with something, and it's not broken my game yet.
Fuck, Bethesda still has that.
But
shit
I've read
in their
online
games.
where there's game breaking bugs, so that's kind of which hopefully the 550
I would hope
fixes
so.
fixed all of those. The other thing I want to point out before we move on to our question is one of the coolest aspects to me is they give a little bit more backstory, because the story basically is, from what I've gathered, is you're Arthur. I'm trying to figure out what happened to Percy, who's my brother. And there's the masks that you have. You collect these masks, and they give you backstory to your and Percy's relationship. So one of the masks I picked up said Percy got in trouble for looking into this girl's room, which was Arthur's. It sounds like Arthur's girlfriend. Like they were chatting, and the mom caught one of them, but didn't know which one it was. So Percy took the fall, so Arthur didn't get in trouble because he wasn't allowed to go over there anymore. So like that bond between the two, I'm really interested to see kind of
how that progresses.
What did we do anything to break that bond, or how that story evolves? Because the very beginning there's an article about you and Percy winning a thing, and obviously something had to have happened for the world to be the way it is outside of war. Like I feel like Arthur's story is just more than we're in a war-torn area. The first thing you see when you do get out of the bunker, though, like the safe house, is a giant bomb that just planted right there. But we happy few, $60. That's, as of right now, I can't really say whether it's worth it. It's a bit steep. I got it for free, but I would have bought it if it was 30 early access. But 60 might be a bit steep, but we'll see. It's to be determined at this point. But yeah. I'm enjoying my time in it. It's a lot of fun. Again, I have the survival aspects off. You can turn them back on. It's difficult.
Some people love that shit. So
the combat,
it's good that it's an option, though.
Yeah, the combat is really fluid, really smooth. One of the things I really like about combat is outside of just like I had a pointy stick that I'd shove at people. You can have shovels that you can hit with people.
Pointy stick.
Yeah, it literally was a pointy stick. But they also have it where R3 is like a shove to knock them off balance. Then you get the advantage. I've not run into a group of people yet, though, so that'll be my first kind of challenge is when it's not 1v1, but it's
multiple.
1v4. How do I do that? So I'm interested. Again, if you want to follow us on the live stream progression, you can head to twitch.tv/level2gamersstl. Follow there. You'll see when we go live. Or I'll put the VODs. I'm hoping to put all the VODs up on YouTube. First part is already up. Second part I still need to do, but first part is already up, ready to go. And we also have that highlight for me jumping from that guy. So we happy for you. If you like survival games and you like a really dark, dreary story, I think you will at least like this game. I don't know if it's going to win the Game of the Year.
It's realm of Bioshock, Dishonored, a little bit of survival thrown in. Worth it, I think.
Cool. Moving on to our question. So our question, it came from We Happy Few. I was playing that game and having a lot of fun with it. And the fact that it had been early access for a long time, and it came full release, do you go back and replay early access games that got a full release or at full release? How much do you allow the game to change before trying it again? So two things for me that kind of brought this to mind. Well, there's 3 games and specifically that I was like, or 4, I guess, that brought it up was obviously We Happy Few is the big one because that's one I just played. It technically wasn't early access, but it felt like early access was No Man's Sky. Got a massive update, and I think a lot of people would jump back into it. Ark Survival Evolved, and Subnautica. Those are the 4 like big early access games that I feel like I put time and or watch somebody put a lot of time into it. And the question is, do you go back and play it at early access at full release, or do you not? What has to change? How much does it have to change? That kind of stuff.
It's a good question.
You don't really play that many early access, though.
No, not that many. I think, honestly...
Because you're a PlayStation dude. You don't allow
For
that.
me, I would say it's codependent on exactly what's changed. So if it's an early access game that is essentially just the same game but maybe like brightened up a bit, like let's say when PUBG goes full release, I don't know if it's technically even...
It's full release on PC.
Okay, so when that goes full release, then I might hop back into that, just to, even though I know the gameplay won't have changed any, or at least not as drastically as something like We Happy Few. I feel like I'll hop into that just to see if they've managed to iron out some of the kinks, right? Because that was known for being a
Don't hold
buggy
your
mess,
breath.
right?
It still is on PC.
Yeah, I know. But it was known for being a buggy mess. But then there's certain games, like some of the ones you mentioned, where the gameplay didn't really change that much. Maybe they added a couple options or something to it to make it more interesting. We Happy Few is a game that when I first watched you play it, I was not sad because it looked okay, but I was disappointed because it wasn't what I wanted.
It was different than what I expected.
Absolutely. So when I watched your live stream a little bit of the current iteration of it, I was pleasantly surprised, and I actually thought, fuck, like I want to play that now.
I did the exact same thing as when I was playing it.
It looks like something that I would enjoy.
To give you like behind the scenes, when that went live, and I was like, you know what, let me try it. Let me see what's changed. I didn't have any sort of expectations for it of like, because even when it launched, I didn't have really expectations of it being good or bad. I was like, I didn't like this before. Let's try it again. Maybe
I just didn't want them to fuck up the story. That's the one thing I didn't want them to fuck it up.
Well, we don't know if they have yet.
Well, no, I mean, from what I can understand, though, the fact that they at least let you just play the story without dealing with survival shit is already like, that's not fucking up the story.
Better,
so,
yeah.
But the story,
the craft, though.
The idea of the joy, and especially like that very, 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 very first trailer where they showed them like hitting the pinata, eating the rat, etc., was just like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like it was so exciting for me because I love those type of atmospheric, dark. You know,
the world is perfect. Like the world is the best part of the game, hands down.
Yeah, well crafted, beautifully crafted, beautiful art style. So the fact that they changed. That's probably one of the first ones when I've been like, that has been the most significant different change between what we originally touched, which was, let's be honest, a like directionless kind of mess. It
was just like proof of concept.
We just ran around.
And to be fair, we only played it at the initial launch.
It was right in the alpha.
We didn't play any of the other updates.
I mean, it was basically like one of the games we might play at a table, like Pixel Pop or something. It was like bare bones.
Yeah, and one of my online friends, he stayed up with it and he loved the game to death as it went along, so he followed progression versus I kind of was like, I didn't like what I had, let me step back. Maybe it's kind of like I'm doing with Destiny now. Maybe Destiny will have a good update and I'll jump back in. Probably not, but you never know.
So I think it's definitely dependent on exactly what changes and for what reason. So if you're talking about a game that had problems with direction, problems with modes that not everyone wanted to experience, and they implement in amazing tutorials and options and that kind of stuff.
The tutorial aspect alone make that game that much better.
And
it's just a pop-up on screen.
We haven't really mentioned it here yet, but you made a post about it where they actually, even a year after sending us the key for that game, send us a 109-page guide on how to go through it. So, like, let me just say that is fucking unheard of in terms of like journalist development.
Usually, what I get if I get any sort of guide at all is
a couple notes.
Here's the crafting. Here's what you do. Like Mother Gunship was the best guide up to that point. It's like crafting. Here's how you do it. Here's how these go together.
Yeah, this was like a fucking GameFAQs level.
Go here, go there.
Yeah,
go there.
It was a GameFAQs level walkthrough, just so in case you got stuck at any point, you could reference it. Because as journalists and as game reviewers and stuff, sometimes we'll hit a wall, we'll bang our heads against that wall for a long time, and because we didn't necessarily spend money on the game, if it gets frustrating enough, then we're just going to stop.
Even if we spent money, if it gets frustrating enough, because especially if you get it early, there's no walkthroughs.
When you stop having fun, that's when you don't want to play the game anymore. So, like, and then with a game, like you said, with a game this large and this early, where there isn't a walkthrough for it, that was amazing of them to do that. So,
good job, Compulsion.
Amazing job, Compulsion. Golf clap. There you go. But it's, so those types of things, sure. I would go back to them. But mostly, if I'm not feeling it on the early access, probably not. I'm not one to stick around.
Well, what if you are and then stopped? So, like for me, prime example for me.
I might peek at it, but I don't think I'd necessarily get heavy on it.
Here's a perfect example. Arc for me. I have probably 400 hours in that game, 500 hours in that game in early access. I played with a group of friends on a private server. We just built and tamed dinosaurs and did our thing. We didn't really do the story because there wasn't a story at the time. And like I said, I have a few hundred hours in that game. A couple updates happened that made me kind of back out. One, giant snakes. I'm out. But
please add remove snake option.
Yeah,
Thank you.
please take the snakes out of the biome. But the other thing for me was like a lot of my friends stopped playing it because we hit a wall of nothing left to do because it was early access. We'd played so much and they can only add stuff so quickly, which is fair because it takes time to develop games, that I stopped playing. And then the full release happened and like I had no desire to go back. Like they're like, there's a story and all this now. And I felt almost like too much had changed, if that makes sense. Like
it
wasn't
what you remembered.
It wasn't a gameplay change. It was a content change. So Ark is a different story because they had DLC before the game was out. Don't think that's right. Whatever. That's a thing that happened. But I feel like they added so much to the game that they're expecting you to have played it in early access to get to that point. So they're trying to help keep those people like, oh, look what we did now and go. But I feel like it was overwhelming then when I was going to jump back, and I never ended up jumping back in. But if I was to jump back in, be like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I remember how much of a grind I died probably 20, 30 times initially. Because there's always in a survival game that grind to get to the point of sustainability. And then from sustainability, you become a badass. But that sustainability grind in Ark was really hard to get to unless you're playing with people. Like I said, people I played with stopped playing. I'm not going to play on a public server because people are assholes there. Like, I ran into that.
That was the whole reason I didn't buy it, actually, was because of all the horror stories I heard about people camping the...
People would just guard the end game.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, there's a fortress around here. That's cool. And you can't choose what server... specifically on console, you can't choose what server you're on. On Steam, you can. But it was just one of those games where I felt like it had been... As somebody who had put 400 hours into a game and to feel overwhelmed when you came back, that's scary. Because somebody who's put none in it... And granted, they just may not understand, because I felt like, to a certain extent, some of the stuff I knew how to do had completely changed. Like, the crafting system had changed, and the buttons had changed, and like No Man's Sky is the other example, even though it technically wasn't early access, it was full release, but I felt like it was early access. It's a weird thing. No Man's Sky, like when I jumped back in No Man's Sky, I enjoyed my time in it. They changed a lot of the resources, a lot of crafting, and some for the better, some I think more grindiness. Like they have a refiner now, so it makes sense of like turn this material into this material, and then you have to have this to do that, and that from a crafting standpoint makes sense. But I felt like if I had continued a save I had before, I would have been so lost. I felt like I had to start from scratch because everything had literally changed.
Yeah.
To the point where the core system of the games had changed.
Yeah, and after you put that much time into something, you don't want to.
You don't want to start over. Yeah. And that's the thing with Ark is like I did start over. I bought it on I can't remember if I bought it on Xbox or PlayStation, but it ran like shit. Like I was like, this is my second time. I'll go play it on a different platform. It ran like shit. The inventory system sucked, and I was like, this didn't port well, and I'm not going to go hop back on Steam because those people are already established. If I go hop online, it's a whole different thing. So I don't know. For me, like, I always, whenever a game goes full release, I'll at least look at it. Whether that look includes playing, but I'll do launch trailer, I'll do some coverage.
At least kind of read the notes.
Kind of be like, is this worth getting back into? Or have I had my time with it and I'm done, move on to the next thing? And that's a lot of times what happens with it. But like with We Happy Few specifically, and we've said it multiple times, the core of what that game is still there. It's the fucked up weird world that you're in.
The concept is what you were there for, at least initially.
The gameplay, I think they fixed, and they went back and they had a full a few months ago. They had a press release that said, "Hey, we listened to you guys," and it shows. Versus a game like PUBG that's like, "Oh, here's a new map." Well, you haven't fixed the fucking bugs.
You haven't fixed the old one.
Yeah, they've been going on. So, like, you gotta listen. You gotta listen to your fans. To a certain extent, obviously, you don't want to do everything because sometimes fans don't know what they want until you show it to them.
Community managers really need to be the guardian of that, I think. Community managers that are managing these, especially these early access communities, your job essentially is to distill information that's being provided to you from the fan base of what they want. So it's not a case of like, oh, John from South Carolina said that he wants this thing, let's do that. But like taking the mass amounts of the highest requested things and then being like, okay, so just so you know, at least like 100 people have requested this feature in the last day. That type of stuff.
And that's where the extra characters came in for We Happy Few. That's the big thing. Is like
people asking for them.
People asking for more. So
yeah.
I mean,
so yeah, it's completely game dependent for me, and also style of game dependent. But I think it's something that I would do. Especially since you already own it, it's not like you're paying extra for the
That's
full
the thing.
release
Like
of it.
that's for me, No Man's Sky. I was like, let me try it again.
I just don't tend to go back to games a lot. Like unless you say
You don't even play games.
I do. Well, I play Overwatch.
Yeah.
But if you...
your back catalog is larger. Your back catalog...
It's pretty bad. Occasionally I'll stop and do... I played Detroit all the way through.
I played
Hollow Knight.
Starlit Adventures the other
Mario
day.
vs. Rabbids. But no, but I'll...
You haven't played God of War yet.
No, I have not. I have not. Yeah, I'm kind of saving that one. I'm saving it for when I have some time.
Well, you're not gonna have time because Red Dead's gonna come out. Spider-Man's coming out.
Red Dead. I'm not a Red Dead fan.
Spider-Man's coming out.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some other game that comes out that you're gonna be like, holy fuck, Overwatch is out.
Yeah, I mean, if Overwatch releases Overwatch 2, sure, but
they're not going to. They've said.
I know, but no,
Even if you release Overwatch 2, you play Overwatch enough.
I know.
It's 2015.
It's pathetic how much I play that game.
You are 100 levels higher than I am.
Yeah. And you had it 2 years earlier than me.
Yes. We need an intervention.
I know.
Overwatch intervention.
Overvention. But no, if you already own it, sometimes it's worth looking at it again. But in general, like if I complete a game,
that's why it's going back to.
If I complete a game,
not buying,
I don't replay it. Hardly, unless it's something that I completed a couple generations ago. Then I'll buy a remaster and I'll play that. That's fine. But like if I complete a game, I will never replay it on the same generation, just because I'm done with it. Like once I see the credits roll, I'm done with it, and that's why games like Overwatch and even Call of Duty to an extent, that type of stuff will capture my gameplay time a lot more because it's multiplayer. It's always different. It's no end. It's always evolving.
Welcome to my world. Why I never finish games.
But you know, a good story campaign. Like I played Detroit Beyond Human all the way through. It was amazing, but I won't play it again for probably until it comes out as a re-release or a remaster on the PS5.
They'll have the Quantic Dream collection where you get
right,
everything.
and I'll just buy all that. You know, like I got the Heavy Rain remaster because I forgot the story, because that's what has to happen for me is I have to forget what the game was like and forget the story in order to want to pick it up again. And if I've like literally played it this generation, I haven't forgotten it. So I would say typically if I've put any kind of time into an early access game at all, no, unless I put time in, I didn't like it, and the things that I didn't like were removed, in which case, yes.
Cool. What do you guys think? I would love to know your opinion on this. Do you go back to early access games that are now full release?
Or just games that update semi-regularly as well.
I mean, like I said, No Man's Sky was technically not early access.
No,
it was
a huge update.
Big update.
Division did a ton of updates.
Well, Division got to the point where they stopped doing DLC and said, we're going to fix the base game. And I remember that happening. I was disappointed because I was like, fuck, that means my DLC is going to be pushed back. But as somebody who bought the gold edition, like I bought a PS4 for the Division. That's why I bought a PS4. But as somebody who bought the gold edition, I really didn't care because I knew I was getting the DLC anyway. And as long as they fix that base game, because you don't want to, like we're talking about PUBG, you don't want to put content on top of a broken foundation because it'll start crumbling. The Division still has issues. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
Anymore,
but I now have they're still updating. They said they're going to continue updating even after Division 2 launches. Free updates for everybody.
Interesting.
They're probably just going to be bug fixes. I don't think it'll be content drops.
Yeah.
But like I'm even more hyped now for Division 2 because a lot of the things that they said in Division 1 that didn't work, they fixed, at least from what I've seen.
Looking at you, Project Cars and everything else.
Well, Project Cars was good. They just lied.
They lied. Exactly. They said that Ubi said we're going to fix it. Ubi's amazing for that shit. Like when they had all the buggy as fuck Assassin's Creed games and stuff, they were like, here's a free game. Like, so we fucked up. Here's a free game. Like, that's amazing. That's such good customer service.
Yep. But this has been Indie Please I Details, episode 32. This is our weekly dip in the world of indie games and indie developers, where we discuss the news and our indie excursions throughout the week, topping all off with a discussion that you can join, as we just did. Good job.
Oops.
You can hit us up in the comments down below. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast services: Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Well, I was going to say Google, but I was like, technically it's Google Play.
Yeah.
SoundCloud, Stitcher, all that fun stuff. Or you can see our lovely faces, hopefully at level2gamers.com, or if you search Level2Gamers STL, both on Google and or YouTube, you'll find us there.
And if you are an independent developer, you can reach us at devs, D-E-V-S, at level2gamers.com.
To continue the discussion,
I thought you were about to say Dikembe.
No, to continue the discussion online, but off air. Hit us up on Twitter at Level2GamersSTL or Discord, link in the description. Thank you guys so much for this. I'm happy to be back. I feel like this was a good episode. We had a lot of cool things.
Good discussion.
Follow us on Twitter, on Twitch, twitch.tv/Level2GamersSTL.
And Twitter, because most of our news is on Twitter. So
everything will be going to Twitter.
We will fucking answer you. If you ask us anything about anything, we will answer you. We're not the type of people to ignore.
Yeah, if you want to see me continue on my playthrough of We Happy Few, I'll be doing it over on Twitch. We also stream every Sunday. We're trying to figure out what we're going to do. We might do like a card game next time because it'd be a lot of fun.
Something goofy.
Something stupid. We're figuring that one out. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always,
welcome to the second level.
Bye.
No game, but they saying welcome to the second level.